we're going to map 5, baby. Oh boy, what a series this has been. And I totally agree with that air horns. Because here we are, it's happening. Yes! Wow, what a series has been. What a map Abyss was. I mean, hell, we almost saw Crew will themselves into a comeback courtesy of MTA just clutching up. That was certainly a fascinating conclusion to that game because Lev almost let that one slip from their fingertips.
Dude, they were up 11-5. I was getting flashbacks to the way that 100 Thieves were eliminated. MTA activates Sleeper Agent. Someone whispers the code in his ear, and he just starts killing everybody.
Becomes a Winter Soldier out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, guys, absolutely insane. That being said, though, they don't really get that opportunity to close it out. But I do know that there were, we were seeing some really great things from Leviatán, with the composition, which we were a little, perplexed by in the beginning because the Harbor showed up.
I'm a Lev hater. I'll say it.
Wow.
Straight up. I'm a Lev hater.
You're wearing blue.
I wanted Crew to win that map. I'm straight up. I'm wearing blue. I don't care if I'm wearing blue. It doesn't matter. They're not supposed to be dressing us how we're predicting, are they? That is how it goes.
I'm voting for Loud today.
Mimi, you were making some good points when we were talking about it while the map was going on as well. But in general, I just think this map does not trend itself towards the style of play that these teams are going for, where they're trying to work the map and work these mid looks as much. The Harbor does help you do that. I think they need to go fully exec heavy, but the map's over. I mean, forget about the map analysis.
I think what was cool about the Harbor, there was a few rounds I wanted to look at, is the way that they were conditioning mid control on their defensive side. They had a lot of different looks for these forward Harbor walls, where a player, usually Mizuno, was walking up off of it and taking a lot of space. This forced Crew to play a much slower attacking side, where they had to be really fixated on either re-clearing mid and getting that space, or being set up in a way where they can have some kind of containment, be that a Cypher cam, be that a player bottom mid. It forced this area of the map that a lot of teams just kind of want to ignore and go for hard hits to be a real threat, which I think is part of the reason why Crew had to slow down, play so many of these rounds where they were trying to figure out what was going on. And on top of that, I think the Harbor is actually pretty strong in the retake, using the Cove to get out through chokes on the Flood, having walls to fight forward. I think there is merit to this comp, but I'm not sold on it being the best comp.
I also liked that Aspas was sometimes hard anchoring one of the sides, but often playing as a rotate floater in the middle of the map. That's very different to how he plays when he plays the operator on Bind, for example.
Yeah.
And it allowed him to get much more active. Aspas had 3 times as many first duels on this map of Abyss as he did on Sunset.
Wow.
So he was able to be involved a ton more.
Do you think that's a product of the map?
By the way, in first kills to first deaths.
Is that a product of the map that he's able to do that on Bind, for example, move across the extremities a bit more, or is it just like?
I think it's partially how you set him up and like where you get the read of the where the attacking team is going to come into you.
But this kill was silly.
That was a silly moment.
But the map is a good op map in general, just to finish that point. And the next map is as well, Ascent. And you'll see him be very mobile on Ascent too when he plays the defense.
Yeah, I'll agree with that as well. I think the way that the Leviatán team, they play this composition with the Omen and the Harbor necessitates you have those two controller players playing separately and anchoring as well on the defense, just because they can't really globally smoke. These numbers, though, are telling a very different story. I mean, if you looked at this, I'd be thinking, okay, I mean, Lev surely should be winning, right? They're on the cusp of a 3-0, correct? But
no.
Not the case.
Where we are.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Kesnit has exploded in certain maps. I mean, his performance on Haven, for example, was incredibly important to push them over the line. So, in some sense, I actually don't care about like what's come before. It's all about how the two players step up in the final map.
Yeah.
And I think that what we are seeing is honestly really similar to the 100 Thieves series with the comeback for Crew, where it has been the other players stepping up and winning clutches. I mean, we were talking about it already. Those last 2 MTA rounds made it look winnable to come back in.
If you get to 11 rounds up, just have a strat to get yourself to 12. Like, please, don't have a strat to find MTA and either run away from him or throw every ult at him.
But this was kind of like, I feel like another example of a chronic Lev problem of like petering out at the end of maps, having really good game plans and ideas to get started and get a big advantage, and then towards the end start to make some mistakes, it snowballs, and they didn't choke it this time, but it was way too close, honestly.
Very close, man. Like I said, I'm a Lev hater. I was praying on a downfall that map. I seriously was. I'll say it, man. I'm supposed to be impartial, but nah, I was praying on it. I really do hope though that we see this Crew team as well. I hope their confidence hasn't been knocked too much after losing Abyss in that fashion.
Yeah.
Definitely made it more doable, I think.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be very
There's
fascinating.
nothing but hate coming from your mouth.
It's radiating from me.
So much hate, couldn't even finish his thought. In any case, now, this is it, folks. Map 5. Winner moves on to face G2 Esports in the grand finals tomorrow. Riot Games Arena, I hope you're making a lot of noise for this one. It's going to be a good game. We're going to Ascent. We're going to see a jet duel. Let's go ahead and send it over back to Baby Bay and Doug for the call.
Thank you so much, Chibi. I honestly love the fact that this ends on Ascent. Given what we just saw Crew do on this map, what, 24 hours ago?
Yeah.
Maybe even less than 24 hours ago. But honestly, what I love about this map, Trey, is that fundamentals get exposed on Ascent. You've got to play the map correctly or you're going to get punished.
And the thing about the series has been, it's been a back and forth with who has the better fundamentals and who's been getting exposed. I mean, keep in mind that last map was a little bit of both teams just running their head into a wall. But wow, the deadlock on Ascent.
Yeah, we've started to see this deadlock Cypher combo a couple of times, and it was very successful at the beginning, and teams are starting to figure it out a little bit. I personally love it. I'm excited to see how they decide to go about this because, I mean, we saw it on Abyss. Lev come into maps with really cool ideas.
Yeah. And to make this composition work, you have to be dialed in on your teamwork and your coordination on the executes. Having the wall in the right spot, having the deadlock nade in the right spot. All these play a factor, and the timings of it play a factor as well. It has to be near perfect. We've seen a lot of teams, including Sentinels, try to run this composition, and even they couldn't make it work. Are Leviatán gonna be the team in North America to make this work on Ascent?
Now note here, Lev are going to be starting on the attacking side. This comp feels at its strongest when they get into post-plant positions.
Yeah.
If they can get there consistently, then they have something to play around here. But if Crew are able to keep that back, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, that wall can isolate so many floods from the side of Crew, and we've already seen that Crew like to play a flood style on a lot of the maps that they approach on. Fast drone in mid, but this is going to be met by Heat. Those footsteps. Oh, the flash is perfect. Tex, he gets taken out on accident. He didn't even mean to be the forefront right there.
Clean little right click. The net coming through. They're going to continue to try to push their way in through the middle of the map, and it might be a problem because they have so much still here. I mean, Heat, who started the round, has not moved, has not left.
That being said, this will be a free A site because of that reason. No rotates here. Garden will be walled off. So retaking from that area is something that Leviatán do not need to worry about. But it's the flank around from Cat that might be very deadly. And I'm wondering right now if that stun actually hits all of Heaven if you make noise. That would be so crazy for a post plant.
I would think so. Left to sit back on the other side of this wall.
This dart.
I mean, they're funneling them exactly where they want them.
There's a flank in A main as well. If
it just got
he
cleared.
finds the right timing with this dart, he might be able to pick Osboss off. Ooh, Osboss drops at the right timing.
There's the sun that you were just referring to. It does go off, so it buys a little bit of time. They now understand where the hit is coming from, or at least a better idea of it. And now the knife confirming that everything around them has been surrounded. They've been put in the cage. Leviatán trying to keep them back. It seems like the cage might be their comfort unless Kesny can pull off a 1v2, and he cannot. Again, the post plants are where success is found on this comp. Lev have already done it once.
Yeah, there was so much delay with just that stun alone into Heaven, let alone the follow-up dart. And Osboss, I mean, there's a real world in which he gets picked off there by Heat, but he somehow just has the intuition to know to drop. All right, I got to give this spot from now on. Let me just drop, play my life, wait for these players to jump out of Heaven. And it's the classics reigning supreme on the actual site hit. That was great.
One enemy remaining.
Look at the right clicks from King. It's so insane. Sometimes this gun just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that was so far away, but all three bullets connected onto Kesnet right there.
An early net, A main to make sure that nobody's pushing. This should allow them to farm the orb, yeah. No, through that very successful pistol, Mazzino's now 2 away from having his ult.
That's exactly what I was just about to point out. Yeah, he's getting that for the bonus, guaranteed. I mean, even if he gets a kill and dies, he'll have it. Even if he just drops early like this, he'll probably get it in the next round on a default of some sort. It's going to be a contact in the mid. Shy gets picked off for free.
Yeah, trying to run across and get involved in the play.
That's the second time he's kind of gotten caught out in the open there.
What is that wall? Kesnet getting 2 massive kills, but look at where the rest of the team is. They're sectioned off of this wall that was thrown from the middle of the map. They knew where the rotations were coming through from, and with 50 seconds left, they can choose to fight mid or flip the map. But every single kill is going their way. Melzer's left alone in a 1v3. I mean, they can hard freeze. They don't really need to take this if they don't want to. Melzer does a lot of damage. 2 dinks there, but the round goes the way of Lev.
Yeah, a lot of the important guns will be acquired from the side of Leviatán as well. We're keeping that Outlaw into this round. We keep the Vandal. We keep the Bulldog. Kesnet, this second shot was filthy onto Vecino. But yeah,
gross.
That wall completely blocks off the rotates. So that's what we're going to see a lot on these executes. And it's the timing that has to be near perfect from the side of Leviatán. Otherwise, I mean, let's say that's an even number situation. Crew broke that wall by the time anyone was making any moves into the actual B main space from the side of Leviatán. So they're going to have to clean that one up if they want to convert more of these rounds on the attacking side.
Dart coming in from spawn, really, back A. And they had an aggressive sound sensor, but it gets cleared out.
Yeah, this util exchange for the A in main. No one is actually in it. Just now, Leviatán decided to take that space. This is a complete fight for extremity control from both sides.
And I think one of the things that Lev are doing here that we didn't really see 100 Thieves capitalize into a lot was denying some of this utility, right? That the defense is setting up. They've cleared the turret that's B. In the previous hunt, we saw them push towards mid and clear the alarm bot. Those are things that forces the defense to have to respect different areas of the map. Otherwise, your hit is telegraphed. And so Lev are playing this a little bit better.
Definitely a hard read watching previous VODs, but Heat has a timing of the year right now. I don't know what his Vandal's doing. This guy's he's got some kind of new weapon in the game, but regardless.
Heat's on the timing, he's on the swing, you're right. Oh, that's your teammate, brother. A little jump scare, all good. The dart back sight, but nothing's been cleared for heaven. It wasn't being watched. Can Aspas and Tex win this bonus? They've got a wall that's concerned on one area of the map towards tree. You've got the sound sensor too. They've gotten into post plants, but this is a tough post plant. When you're down in numbers like this, it's not that simple, but Tex just picks them apart one by one. Fall, 5, fall. The eye by power ace and the bonus for Lev.
Tex had no business doing what he just did. He had a Guardian. That was his first 5 kills of the map.
Follow at iBuyPower on socials. They'll be giving away a free PC every single time an iBuyPower ace comes through. Shout out to Tex. Make sure you use hashtag #UnlockYourAce for a chance to win. What a round from Tex.
And it's so crazy, Doug, because I was just about to say, the retake took so long to come through. You shouldn't be giving a player like Aspas that time of day to actually think about this clutch, this 2v4, but it was Tex the one that was the maker in that. What a ridiculous play. I can't even talk.
And that's
oh my gosh.
Again, this is the attack side. This is the... Gosh, if they continue to get into these post plants, they're going to run away with this half.
A 2v4 like that, that's devastating to the mental of Crew. I mean, we've seen what happens to Crew when strong starts happen against them, and it's not pretty.
And they almost exercised those demons on the previous map, but weren't able to get it past the finish line. He almost hit that shot. But it seems like they're going to have to be faced with that challenge once more. On the deciding map, no less. They're trying to get really aggressive here onto Kesnet. He's the only one playing close by. Shy's going to be forced to spam or at least tank the smoke and try to face it and capture timing. And timing has been found.
Spike down mid.
Shy finds his 2. The spike is now sitting in no man's land. A gun has been upgraded. This gets messy.
Tex is still alive,
30
Doug.
seconds left.
Tex and King in a 2v4.
Oh, the first is good for King.
It was messy, but he got it through. And Tex continuing to push towards spawn. He might catch a timing on MTA, but now he's been spotted. The timing has been found. He's bought enough time to punish Tex, and that's exactly what he does. King cannot convert. It's a Thrifty round win for Crew.
Kesnet, he's been so good on these Thrifty rounds. He got 2 in the previous one. This time he gets 1, and that 1 is enough to give himself, his team, an advantage into this. When the gun game is not in your favor, getting any type of pick like that opens up that opportunity for Shy to go through. Leaving it all up to Tex and King in that 2v4. It's too much to ask for. It will be Kesnet getting that operator online and early. We're 4 rounds in.
I will find you.
It's a big investment.
And it's a really good investment going up against a composition that doesn't really have many flashes other than that Paranoia. And Paranoia, most of the time, isn't really used to dissuade an operator. There's the first pick on a Tex. You have to try swing, though.
I mean, they've put the wall up, and now the smoke comes down market, blocking the angle that Kesman was able to punish on. Almost hits that. And there's the ult that's been used for the first time. Mazzino's able to get the best of MTA as they've gotten back out onto the site. The grab net to keep them back. The wall that they're still trying to get past market, just now TPing through, and now they've got sensors. Haven't committed to getting the spike down, though. So the round is still up in the air. It's still messy. It's still complicated. Com's able to get one, now 13 HP, switching over to the Phantom. Forced to reach back and extend beyond comfort to grab the spike. Has a dart, but can even find enough comfort to invest it. In an awkward position where there's so much paranoia and so much fear of what's happening around you, he's gonna have to double swing into both, and he can't. Heat cleans him up, Crew get to 2.
Yeah, that was such a tough 1v2 for Com to play in that moment.
Yeah.
The members of Crew were just too dialed in and ready. They knew where exactly where he was. And Kesnet with that opener, you're gonna see that a lot against a composition like this. It's so tough to push an operator back with the deadlock. Just not enough utility to be used.
I saw King's smoke hit. It was just late, or it felt like Tex was jumping ahead of it. He jump spotted ahead of it. So I don't know if that, I mean, those little micro decisions that are half a second late or half a second early, we'll see if those continue to plague them.
And that's what I was talking about when you run this comp. You got to be near perfect. If you're not, you're going to get punished like that. One set of utility not in the right spot at the right time while you're peeking. You give an opportunity to die.
They've inserted King back in Wine, and they've got a sound sensor covering him too.
Yeah, it's been something that I wanted to talk about with how Leviatán are running this deadlock. They're doing a lot of aggro sensors because you don't really need to use them as trips, and they're not really good at trips either. So you're going to see him holding on to them, using them to gain space on defaults, and then also using them in the post plants. It's basically just extra security for his teammates to play off of. Tex will get a spam on NTA.
And it was the counters. They were trying to punish Com for trying to clear the turret. I mean, paying a life for a turret feels tough.
Every time Leviatán get a first blood, they know to just freeze the round and hold for another push somewhere. In this case, it was Heat pushing off a catwalk, which is something that he does quite a bit.
They're going to end back B. Remember, King only has a Spectre.
Oh!
That dart not finding its mark.
Won't matter, though. They do have this site for free after all.
It's not something they knew.
Oh!
A nice shot onto Kesnet again. They've been investing this wall to deny the flood out for market. And honestly, when you think about how Crew like to play the defensive side, it makes sense. They love to flood out and try to lean into the chaos. Kesnet popping the blades. He's still very healthy here. Com's upgraded to an Odin. It's still just King with the lighter weaponry. He's hearing every single person come through. They're going to invest this lockdown. There's a lot on the shoulders here of Com and of Tex. If he can find the right timing here, this is going to be big. There it is. There's the timing. He gets 3 on the round. Swung onto the 4th, leaving things in a 1v1. Melser against Com. Com is so weak. 42 HP, a shock in his lap. Tries to swing. Melser pushing the matter and getting the kill for Crew.
That was such a hard retake to do, especially amongst the Hunter's Fury from Com and backside, breaking that Killjoy ultimate. Tex ran through B main. The fact that he even got traded in the first place was kind of a miracle. No one was looking at him at first. He was able to get 2 free kills into that.
Yeah.
Mazzino. Sorry, Melzer. He was too sharp on that, and he played that 1v1 perfectly. Com could not see him on any of the jump spots either. Oh, that trade came just in time.
It's fading away into the smoke.
And Melzer, he had a really rough map the last time on that Abyss. It's good to see him awake here, winning that clutch. It's 3-3 right now on this ascent.
They've bought up around the blades a little bit here too. Meanwhile, Kesnet still has the op. And there's nothing to deny that line tiles here. You've got to be careful.
He's going to be met by an operator here. The spike is towards tiles right now, so all this A default was all just a ruse. Maybe trying to sell a fake here. That drone pushing off Kesnet. Off a cat should be a good idea for the attacking side to understand what the setup is. It's a heavy lean towards B main for Kesnet, trying to show a new look.
It's a deep trip being, or attempting to clear out, and they do succeed. But it's just refreshed.
Doesn't matter now though, because Kesnet has that B main line. It allows for this lean over heavy A setup. A very early KO ult. Leviatán are just having to be frozen right here. So much utility being invested by a crew.
Convinced that this is where the hit is. And I mean, everything that they've seen, every single tell has been shown, suggests that that's the case.
Yeah, but now you have nothing. All you have these KO flashes from Heat. He's not even going to be in a spot where he can use them though.
It's the Lev way to freeze, to slow things down. Aspas finding a scout, finding two, finding all three with the blades.
10 seconds left.
A disgusting execute after freezing, cutting noise, baiting out that Omen paranoia.
Here.
We saw Mazzino using his nade in the back of Jen. Heat has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
That was a sick execute, a sick freeze, a great reaction from Leviatán. And although the economy is fine for the side of crew, that's a tough one to swallow. I mean, they had the read, then they didn't. Second guessed themselves. Kesnet might not even have the chance to bring this up into the next round after clearing out back B.
Oh, I think he's pretty well concealed.
Yeah, Tex will be the only one that he gets contact with. Let's see if Tex can actually get the kill. Oh, he can.
That's all right. We, Aspas gave the fist bumps. All is good. The op was carried over into the next round. So we'll see how the rest of this plays out. It seems like we may have timeout on our hands, but I want to take a look at this round one more time. This was the grab net that you mentioned that kind of strapped him into that spot. He had nowhere to go.
No, it's the entire area. It's the escape as well. You legit have nowhere to go. And KO flashes in that Gen area when you're being split from Catwalk, they don't get the, it doesn't hit the same when people are coming out of A main. You know what I mean? Just doesn't have the same gravitas.
Tough spot to be in.
Yeah, so it's going to be a timeout from crew. This coach probably telling them, yo, don't jump the gun on a lot of that utility. Wait till you actually hear the audio cues of them coming out of the chokes. Then you can invest that paranoia.
Well, I think part of the problem is, though, is again, this is how crew have loved to play the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, across every map, they like to fight into the retakes, and it's been very successful for them up until this point, so it makes sense. And Lev dialing in on it makes even more sense, right? Just kind of bait them into it, just kind of lure them out, and then hit when they have nothing left in the tank.
Just map 5 things. Both teams understand each other so well. They've met so many times before. Crew have never been able to dethrone them, not this year at least.
Yeah, 3-0 the way of Lev this year. And we've had some close maps, but their last bout was the most humiliating, to be honest. I mean, Lev had their way with crew.
Right here.
But that's far, far gone. Crew have pushed Lev, they put him in a fight. And they've gotten it down to the 1-yard line, but can they get it over the edge? This defensive side of Ascent, you would think, is your advantage, but they're causing so many problems with this deadlock pick, man.
The grab nets have been on point right now.
Mazzino's been so good. NTA's getting caught, spammed through the smoke, nowhere to go.
It's round over right here. It should be at least, but Melzer has something to say about it.
A spam connecting, Kesner not able to land onto the shot, but that's another kill found. Try to connect onto it, but it's Kesnet somehow through all of that. That's left alone in a 1v2. A little bit of health, no armor to speak of. Forced to sit back and watch and take a look at what Lev are doing. I thought they were going to continue to hunt. I thought they were going to continue to chase him down. But they opt against it, tap the door, and continue to get the spike down. A weapon exchange over for Kesnet. Now has a Vandal to work with. I mean, Tex has his ult. Does he invest it here?
I know.
Yeah, he does, and there's a dart to follow up as well, if need be. There's the dart.
Yeah, position fully given away.
And now the double up from the side of Leviatán. Can Kesnet hit both of these shots on the wide swing? Will they line up for him?
There's the swing onto both, you're right. I thought for a moment. but it just doesn't work out. He was looking the wrong way. No real idea of where they were.
I need this.
And the value from these grab nets. Now you're starting to feel why this pick has been chosen from the side of Leviatán.
Yeah.
The patience that Leviatán have showed on this attacking half as well. Even when they have the site for free, just to hold, try to get the trades. It's been working well in their favor. Now Crew are on the back foot. Leviatán leading by 2 rounds and an operator now in the hands of Aspas.
A hero rifle for Kesnet. And that's a lot of presence mid. The idea is there. They wanted to try to fight mid, scrap something, try to get an advantage.
Yeah. And Aspas has Shy stuck in this corner. If he doesn't move or get any type of supporting utility, this walk up on Cat is going to kill him for sure. Look at this. 3 members. There's a jet smoke for Shy to get out.
And he manages to do so.
Barely.
Not without taking damage, you're right. And then finally, the second blow is the decisive one. Oh, he knife out, trying to take some space.
They're getting dismantled right now.
He's starting to see these little mistakes come through.
Cracks in the shield.
And this is on the defensive side.
And then here's what we're talking about, this freeze into Garden on Catwalk. Just waiting for more re-aggression. They know that Crew like to group up in these moments when they're down numbers. Or even sometimes not. Sometimes just walk into space, walk into smokes.
30 seconds
There's
left.
no way he finds this timing.
What are you up to?
This would be absolutely ridiculous. Ah, King is too aware of it.
It looked like for a moment he was going to find the narrowest of margins to punish within. But Crew once again locked out of the site, once again locked out of the round.
Power of deadlock in full effect.
Here's that sensor, decides he has to take a different route.
Okay.
Meanwhile, that is a weapon upgraded for MTA, still has light armor. Tech's trying to punish, but it's Mazzino who cleans him up. Lev gets a 6.
And Mazzino gets 2 off of his orb as well. Have that deadlock ult available and online, maybe even in this round if they decide to grab both orbs. This attack operator makes it very hard to play against. You want to be able to hold a lot of these contact spots, but now that you know that you could be getting swung by an operator, I mean, so much more pressure on actually hitting that shot in the moment. If you don't, you're going to get instant by this guy.
Yeah, you will get punished. You're right. 2 ops on the field, both in the hands of the Jet. A very passive line held by Kesnet here.
Revealing area.
On the side of Leviatán, they should be aware there's an operator on the opposite side as well. So they should do their due diligence of, you know, clearing that operator out, getting certain lines. That's why you're going to see a drone into B main. This is very common from teams to leave an operator posted on B main in the mid round and a lean towards A.
Especially when that alarm bot is still up mid. A deeper smoke, and he's got to hear that's coming. Faces it, clears the drone,
Yeah.
and then resets.
But now this is full info gathered for Aspas to take aim duels against riflers at A site. This is an Opera's dream on the attacking side.
With 50 seconds left, they could freeze, or they could accelerate A. They're all posted up on the other side of it. There's got to be something to get heat off this line, because this could be disaster. I guess that's what gets them off the line.
Exactly.
Aspas just crouch walking into it and dropping him. And that works, I guess. A smoke, a wall, and a cam up towards tree, too.
30
The
seconds.
dart back sight, the paranoia goes down.
Sound sensor up.
This should be a spike plant unless Melser is able to snatch this thing back up from heaven. Yeah, there's no access that way.
It's so hard to play against.
Shock's a little bit off the mark. And what do they have here? How do they get around this? They still have the op in the hands of Aspas, and that's what's able to hold down heaven by itself.
Yeah, the problem is you have no KO flashes. He got taken out early right there. So this heaven peak is all dry. Aspas has easy pick'ems here.
Even on the other side of the smoke, they tried smoking him off, but they knew that the swing was coming in because of the sensor, and he tanks it. Fully faces it, and now the ult used.
Last player.
Not connecting. Kesnet with an Odin in a 1v3. That's 2 now. Time is of the essence. You've got to go fast. You've got to go now. Dropping down into the site, dropping down into his death.
What a great drop from Leviatán to identify where the opposing operator is. That allows Aspas to have the confidence to peek anybody, anywhere on A site. He's able to lead in. 9 times out of 10, when you're peeking into somebody that's holding with a rifle, the operator wins, especially in the hands of an operator like Aspas. So for him to be able to identify that in the moment and be the forefront and peak Heat, that's why you saw that pick come through. It's so fast on Heat's screen, he had no chance at all.
Well, we're reaching into the bottom of the barrel here, aren't we?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, and if it works, and it did, then sure.
Mazzino's going for a fast trade here, and he gets it.
I mean, Mazzino's been so good, both in his utility. We've gushed about the deadlock stuff so much.
Wow, the stuns have been so sick.
But he's also quietly, I mean, well, he's got a face full of lead now.
There's just something tilting about getting one pumped by any gun in this game.
And now downgrades to the Phantom.
Yeah.
With the spike still enhanced by Calm. The attack side op moving around a little bit more. The alarm bot hasn't been cleared yet, but they have done enough to introduce a little bit of doubt into the map. Take a look at MT8's positioning, having to rotate back mid.
It's so scary. Drone is used though. So info on all 3 members of Leviatán is gathered. Melzer faking a teleport, and he's actually staying here in Garden.
Cover going out.
Goes for the one-way.
30 seconds left.
Smoke to cover.
There's a double back into mid though. This turret will get first contact, and MTA needs to be very careful in this spot.
This hourglass is getting lower and lower. 15 seconds left. They haven't gotten a ton of space yet. The turret goes back up. They have to end B here. And they've got Melzer right behind them. Hey, this is a false sense of security, but Aspas is holding the line. He's got to understand there's a little bit of a threat. Now one way to cover one side is they can focus elsewhere. Shy strikes at just the right time, leaving Aspas on his own in a clutch, dashing back, trying to buy a little bit of time, trying to buy a little bit of space. And it's Melzer with 3 as Crew get their 4th.
Oh my goodness. I thought Aspas just hit the craziest flow state after popping that dash. But Melzer keeping it calm, cool, and collective. Securing the 1v1 win. Putting Crew on 4 rounds. They need everything they can get. They need to scrape out any rounds they can. Melzer did so much work at the start of that round and closed it out perfectly. From Bucky to Phantom.
Here.
Last round of the half. Kesnet has blades.
Same thing at the opposite side. Aspas has them online and available as well, amongst many other ults that'll be online. Leviatán need to secure this Sova ultimate so they can match the Killjoy ult from Shy. Hunter's Fury for lockdown is required.
But can they get to the point where they have equivalent exchange?
What kind of grab net is this? Is this for close left? That would be ridiculous. It doesn't even matter.
Aspas gets high ground and drops Kesnet.
Kesnet couldn't move.
That was just so well done.
Oh my gosh, Melzer gets spammed.
Through the smoke, picked apart, 1 by 1. And now forced to solve a 2v5 equation. And those numbers do not add up.
I know exactly.
Yeah, you just have to flood out of heaven here because of that Hunter's Fury.
1 enemy remaining.
The arithmetic's not getting any better. It's a flawless round for Lev. Aspas gets his 3 as Lev gets to 8. That was on the attack side of Ascent.
We've seen the power of the deadlock on this map. Leviatán have done such a good job showcasing it. The grab nets have gotten so many kills for the side of Leviatán. He's got 9 assists all because of that.
It was just so difficult to try to navigate through. Again, they highlighted it perfectly. We talked about the grab nets and how effective they were. We talked about how well placed, not just well placed as far as position, but timing too on the deadlock walls. It made it so miserable for Crew to have to try to navigate. And now they're headed to the strong side. We're going to throw it to a break. We'll be right back.
Goldilocks.
Hey, we decided to mix it up for this halftime. And they cheered! Oh, wow, they're all according to plan. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about what we just saw there. Obviously, last map, Bren, the pressure is on here for both of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. But Lev are on the cusp as well of getting that revenge potentially. If they make their mark, if they get to that grand final, it's only a few rounds away. And for Crew, they need essentially a pistol round here. I think an 8-4 half with Lev starting on that attack side is almost insurmountable. But again, I mean, Crew have been so good at the pistol round wins. There's always a potential, I think, that they could bring this back.
And for Lev, this is a chance for redemption. In stage 1, making it to the lower finals, losing in a super messy game to G2, and then honestly falling flat at their first international appearance of the year. If they could win here in 5 maps over Crew, go to their first final as a squad, really proving why people consider this team a super team and one of the best to go represent Americas in Seoul.
Yeah, well, you know, you heard from our analysts, but I figured mix it up. Let's go ahead and hear from our crowd. Who do you think's going to win, Lev or Crew? Lev? All right. First. Who thinks Crew's going to win? I see the Crew's back there. They're okay. All right, who thinks Leviatán are going to win? Santissimo. You heard the people. They feel good about Leviatán. Let's send it back over to Doug and Baby Bay.
Thank you so much, GB. It's nice to hear the only bit of Spanish that you know coming through on the broadcast. An incredible crowd. And the truth of the matter is Lev have set themselves up so well. Again, now you've got to find a way to reckon with this Deadlock Cypher comp on defense. This is where it's strong.
Yeah, it can be so hard to break through some of these setups. Even against KO Ultimate, you're able to swap, have players sit and spawn. It's going to be so tough to deal with, especially in the form that Aspas is in at the current moment. But this is it, Doug.
But again, Crew were able to pull off a ridiculous comeback here yesterday. I mean, they were able to put 100 Thieves away.
It was on the defensive side mainly, though. This one Cam gets a lot of info for Leviatán. It'll dissuade the mass group of Crew. That's why you see a lot of players sitting in bottom mid, but he's kind of stuck here on an island. What's the game plan here?
I imagine
a late lurk. Is the KO the one you want to be in this spot?
I can't imagine that was part of the plan, but maybe they try to end that way. Oh, now we're going to get 20 seconds of watching Crew try to clear this wall out.
Infinite stall. You got a one way to follow up as well. But that wall needs to be broken.
Yeah.
Much like playing against a Sage, it could be very deadly leaving it there. Unless you play around the actual timing of it.
But it's just so much passive info that's gathered. So they clear the wall, and now, because of that, Lev are forced to keep a couple of members closer here. Meanwhile, the rest of the hit is headed towards B. They've rejoined the fray with Heat. And Tex has to understand there's a little bit of presence here. Is there enough? Is there any more utility out from Mazino? He has a grab net. Still in hand. Is he convinced that that's where it's coming from? There's a net, but it's too little too late. That shock is going to hurt. They got him all there. Only one found, though. King just recklessly jumping through the smoke, somehow claiming a life with it.
Last player standing.
Leaving Aspas in a 1v3. The dash is procced, the Sheriff in hand, swings out, spots one, able to clean him up. I don't know. Don't look at me that way, I have no idea. Still 2 more to be found. Not able to connect onto the second. MTA cleans him up, and that's a round for Crew.
You saw the protocols in full effect right there for Leviatán, but the pace that Crew put on that actual hit was too fast. The utility couldn't make it out on time.
Yeah.
And that pop flash from Heat into that Omen smoke on stairs, Tex was blind for like a minute. I think poor guy could see nothing by the time he gets back in. Heat's already in his face. Calm gets caught out with a shock dart, but you see the setup. It was supposed to be Tex sitting at stairs. Grabnet comes out on stairs as well, and shock darts are supposed to rain through Supreme for Calm. But the pacing and the timing of Crew is too explosive. Something they're going to have to keep doing in the future half.
Knife tagging onto Calm, a smoke deep towards the middle of the map. Crew should be able to exploit a lot of this.
Yeah, this is all conditioning. 2 rounds in a row, taking heavy mid control, clearing out all this space, trying to clear out all that utility. Last time around, they used more util to clear out Catwalk. Did a guard and smoke as well. Will be a drone into B main though to get some info. See if anyone's pushed up here. Cam gets spotted. Aspas might be able to slip right back in. Oh, not anymore after being seen right there. but not breaking that dart makes it kind of obvious you're leaning towards A now. There is a wall here, but it will get broken.
Yeah, the wall just went up, and you're right. It doesn't last nearly as long with all the weaponry on the other side of Crew. Mazzino, oh, not again. Oh.
Almost.
Really nice snap, though.
Still 2 players here.
Yeah, but I thought if there was going to be a play around it, it would be through the delay of time and then a sneaky timing through the wall, or through the smoke, excuse me. But
30 seconds left.
Once Crew were able to get past all of those traps, it should be smooth sailing at this point. Couple of sheriffs up on the defensive side. No real utility to speak of.
Very confident positioning from Melzer as well. He decides to get out of there. Rightfully so. You want to keep all these weapons that you have. This is a big investment from Crew.
Yeah, and they knew the smoke was going down, so didn't want to get caught in a situation like that. Look at that.
Firing squad.
That quadruple face.
Yeah, and this is a good moment for Leviatán to just submit to the death of the spike. Don't give MTA any more ultimate orbs or Shy. Give yourselves more of a buffer. Don't get snowballed going into this bonus round. But the buy from Leviatán, or from Crew, I mean, that's a massive investment, and they might be able to make something out of this in the following gun round of Leviatán.
Yeah, we saw this. Well, it was on the previous map, wasn't it? They fully invested into this, and they were able to convert it, carry 4 of their rifles. Yeah, I believe it was just all 4 of them, and that made their bonus round so strong.
Yeah, look at it. It's basically, it is a gun round.
It's a gun round.
It is a gun round, and they could still buy the next. Very healthy, in fact. Look at all the light armor from Leviatán. Keep in mind, for the Guardians on the battlefield, that's only 2 shots to the body. You take out anybody with light armor.
2 rounds separating these 2 squads in this final map. A series, admittedly, that many people thought wouldn't go the distance, but here we are. Crew pushing the pace mid. We've seen them do this a lot. That one-way cam cleared, but a little bit of info gathered. Yeah. The thing is, it's so early in the round, Dre.
Yeah, it's the conditioning. Last 3 rounds they've played, it's been fast up mid. This time they're freezing, waiting for a reaction. This is the answer back, a drone and B main, but Shy is gonna relay this to his team. Oh, the one-way onto Cat with the deadlock trap right there. That's so deadly if any sound is made. That basically denies any type of a Cat push.
I mean, look at that. There's no easy way into A. You've got the wall main, and then you have the 2 sensors. If they somehow get past the main wall, you're gonna have to deal with that too.
Yeah, and then a paranoia from supporting casts that are flooding in. It's a lot of utility that needs to be baited out.
Like that. And then you look at the other side of the map. You have 2 cages, and you have 2 trips as well. I think so much of this relies on Heat to be able to find value with this knife. If he's able to find the right targets, then they can play around it.
I don't know if he connected onto the deadlock or not. It looks like he did because that trip did not go off yet.
Yeah.
But it will in the mid round.
No surprise.
There's the stun. Melzer, forget the stun. He takes out Mazzino.
Swide swinging and moonwalking his way into landing that shot. Numbers still the way of the defense with 10 seconds left. They've got to get the spike down. A little bit of time was bought. A brief moment of peace. And off of that, they commit. Now trying to fight and deal with everything that's up in heaven, and they do so. Crew get up to 7 at the hands of Kesnet and Shy.
Beautiful swinging together in that moment. A bonus round 1. The pressure is on Leviatán in this moment. Crew, when they get momentum, they string up so many rounds. Beautiful swing together at the end here to make sure Aspas doesn't connect onto anybody. And that KO knife, that's what you talked about. It needed to connect onto the deadlock. It hit Mazzino.
Different defensive look here. Look at where the sound sensor is. This is on a lighter buy, though. It's just a Guardian in the hands of Aspas.
Yeah, but this mid default that has happened every single round, it's going to get punished this time around if Dash is not popped.
Sensor goes off, Paranoia goes through, Aspas gets the kills, and there it is, just like that.
Oh.
But it's only 1 found. They've managed to avoid it, yes, bruised, but still standing.
MTA needs to be very careful here, or he might not be standing quite more. Aspas and Tex are all swinging together. Mazzino with the follow-up.
This is disaster. This is disaster.
Spike down mid.
They walk into the trap, and they're picked apart.
Big overcommitment into mid from the rest of the squad of Crew, and now it's a 3v1 for Shy, and he gets taken out for free.
I mean, Mazzino was standing on the other side of his wall and Cat for a second. And so that was a round that, I mean, needed to go the way of Crew, expected to go the way of Crew. But again, the persistence across the middle of the map led to massacre.
It works against them this time. Good job on Leviatán to read that. Every single round, it's been a mid default off the rip with no pushback whatsoever. This time denying that, and now you're gonna have to see Crew change their game plan.
Placing swarm grenade.
You might have to take mid delayed now. Maybe be more hesitant.
Yeah, I look at all of this utility B.
This is ridiculous. There's 4 trips there. Oh, but the KO ultimate
It's only
most of it.
It's only gonna get one though. And honestly, given how far away he is, I'm surprised it even hit that.
It's somehow connected onto Mazzino.
There may have been a knife.
Go out.
Yeah, it may have been a knife for something. Either way, they're still gonna have to deal with the sound sensors. Aspas is able to punish onto one, but they're still trying to make their way out onto the site. That is a bold TP from King, but takes a step back. Is that gonna connect?
It does.
Will. Forced to sit and watch in a blue screen. They're gonna try to save him, but I don't think they can. Shy will fall. And now the 3 remaining members of Crew are huddled out onto the site, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, with the exception of Melzer, who's a little bit further off, a little bit closer to the wall, holding his 50 line. What's the cue for Lev to go? What are they waiting for?
Paranoia right there.
But it doesn't hit Melzer. You gotta be careful. He's already found one. Can they flood around it? Melzer gets 3 on the round. He's got to get them all by himself, but he can't. Woo.
A nice controlled retake for Leviatán. It looked scrappy, it looked chaotic because Melzer was, you know, a thorn in the side of them, but they brought it back and brought it together. The trading was in their favor. What a great deadlock ult to catch out Shy. He gets caught out by that camera. Now it's a weird buy. It's a weird situation for Crew.
I don't know how he gets that many there, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Tom hitting his best Odin cosplay.
Yeah, just Odin things.
And looking good doing it. Timeout called by Crew. Again, we're nearing the end of this series. We're nearing the end of this tournament run for one of these 2 teams. 3 in a row for Lev against Crew. But Crew now in a position to turn that tide, to turn that story.
They've already had 2 Thrifties this map on the defensive side. They need this next one. They need it more than ever. Leviatán getting at 11, building their ult economy up as well. I mean, the economy now is getting in good standing for them. If you don't Thrifty right here and now, it's going to be very, very difficult to close this map out for Crew.
They somehow will have to defy what's conventional wisdom and find a way to succeed more on the attack.
And look at this, there's an operator out for Aspas. We've seen how deadly he's been with this operator, specifically against Crew. A big reason why Abyss defensive side was won.
And look at where he's posted up currently. Across the middle of the map. You've talked so much about the default the Crew have been running mid. They go up, they try to clear out utility, they try to make some noise, and then they play the rest of the map. This time though, an adjustment from the attack.
Yeah, smoke bottom mid off the rip. Makes it kind of obvious that you're going up Cat. That's why you see the instant reposition from Aspas. He's gonna meet them head on here with the one-way. Oh, he gets a tag on the Heat.
Not able to find the blow though.
It's a double trip setup though, even if you make it through here.
That's the devastating part of this setup, is if you creep up and try to clear out the trip, the sensor goes off. And so you're stunned. It's confirmed presence.
Gosh. And on the opposite side of the map, there's a trip in market because there's been a lot of mid to Bs from Crew, a lot of market takes. And look at how far back Tex is playing. He's jump spotting B main right now. Omen Flash does connect.
Again, it's another leg though. A little bit more close. Now the trip's cleared. Mazzino is in a really good spot. He's playing on the other side of smoke. Aspas has to take a step back, but he's overwhelmed. He's outgunned. What can Mazzino do to counter? They're gonna push into spawn potentially. They have so much space. Mazzino and King are surrounded.
30 seconds
Tex is
left.
so far away from the play. And that's not one down. Make that both.
Placing alarm bomb.
Crew have clawed their way back into this. How much of a hero can Tex be? He's not even interested.
Save the operator. That was a must-win round for Crew. What an insane conversion, considering the fact that Aspas tagged 2 people down to 1 shot. I mean, the way that Crew just did that, just overwhelmed a player like Aspas, that is so difficult to accomplish. They util bombed him, and when they had no util, it was Melzer putting his life on the line with that Omen teleport.
Tex, they're coming for you.
He's too good with his gun. I've seen him so many times saving an operator for Aspas and connecting every single shot. Everyone, keep in mind, this was a chamber player. He knows how to op.
He's carrying the op into the next round, but Crew get within 2. This was such a nice setup.
Yeah.
I mean, Melzer even TPing forward to try to get past some of that utility is really nice.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just insane, the heads-up play that he just did. It's a tough one. Lever in a really good spot at the start of that round, but Aspas getting overwhelmed, and that is not something you see every day. Tex will keep the operator into this round.
Aspas with blades. Look at how far back he is. What's your play here?
Just looking for that Omen TP off the top.
Yeah.
Go
Convince
up. Yeah.
That's where it's headed.
And this is a fast pace up cat from Crew. We haven't seen this quite yet. Still 2 trips here. And this was a full investment for Leviatán. If they don't convert this round,
it will hurt. You're right about that.
It's going to be a tie game unless they Thrifty again.
The Blades are still sitting all the way back in spawn. The Grabnet tagging a couple, a little bit of damage dealt.
Oh. Oh my gosh, he's stuck right behind this wall. He can updraft past it if need be.
But then he'd get stunned.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
My ult's ready.
almost doesn't get out.
Mazzino is dead.
I mean, you don't expect somebody right there, though.
I think he played that perfectly.
Aspas jump spotted mid. He does see Shy. That's why he's leaning towards A. He saw Shy leaning towards Catwalk.
Yeah, still back in spawn. Commons invested the ult on this. Oh. They've thrown so much into this round. They've got to find a way to convert. The Blades are on the site. King is here. It's only a 1-for-1, though. Aspas with 87 HP, no armor to speak of. He tries to get over the top. The spam from MTA is too good. Whoa. Can the op connect?
That could have.
Almost does. A 2v2 now. MTA weak. 30 HP. Kesnet still healthy. How do you get into this round?
Oh, Tex wants a rifle so bad. He doesn't want to go into this retake with an operator. No body will be found quite yet.
Oh, and especially if Crew play this so patiently and so carefully, I mean, they're not going to give him anything. Spam initially not connecting, and now they're starting to funnel away out of heaven. One spotted. He still gets that. It's all onto Kesnet. A 1v2. The need to deliver from the start. One has been found. Can Tex lane the shot? Dashes across. He buys so much time. There's none left. They hunt Tex down. Kesnet with 3 at the Red Bull clutch as Crew get to 9.
Crew are doing something very special right now. The way that they're maneuvering around all these trips, the way that they're finessing around all the utility from Leviatán. It is not an easy thing to do whatsoever. That kill from MTA, that spam onto Aspas was huge. And yeah, that kill not going the way of Tex in that moment. He's gonna have nightmares of that one if Leviatán do not pull this one through.
They're still down 1. There's still a lead, albeit slight, yes, but there is still a lead on the left camp, and they call a timeout here. That 4-round buffer that they were holding on to at halftime has, for all intents and purposes, dissipated.
And you would think with this composition, Leviatán are running, oh, it's double Senti, it'll be so good on the defensive side. But now, the lack of information, utility, the lack of flashes, you're starting to feel that effect because Crew are doing a really good job of sniffing out where the utility is. Even when it's doubled up, quadrupled up, Crew are doing their due diligence, using utility to find out what the setups are. And Kesnet is taking these opportunities, these timings, catching players off guard. Who gets stuck behind a wall right there?
Yeah, you just wouldn't expect that position in a moment like that. What's the buy for Lev? I mean, there isn't one.
Yeah, it's tough. The ult economy is not really there either. All signs are leading towards Crew to accumulate this next round at least. I mean, if Heat or MTA pop off in this anti-eco, you have a lot of ultimates to work with in future rounds. It's an A main phase here. King did invest into a paranoia. This could do a lot of damage.
They've walled them off, but the spam and the nade are too good. I mean, they had an idea of the trap. It was a cool idea. And when you're down like this, you dig into the playbook. I get it.
And that's
but Crew, disciplined.
And that's a kill onto Heat as well. Now, if he's able to grab that orb, this is a really good opportunity for Crew to at least gain advantage in the ult economy.
And we've talked so much about this double senti setup, whatever. But you're right. Heat getting his ult online late in this half is going to cause so many problems.
Yeah, we saw him do a mid to B last time, and it hit everybody. It even hit Mizzino at A site. Drone comes out, tags back site. He will be util bombed. It's all up to the hot hands now. What can they do?
They're all huddled in here on the side.
Oh, that's one.
Goes down. MTA falls. It's a little bit of a 1-for-1. No real way to upgrade weapons, though. So the defense is forced. It's thrown back onto this Sheriff situation, and Kesnet wins those 9 times out of 10. We're tied.
By himself, by the way. He solo swung that. He's feeling it. It's 10-10. We're all tied up. Ults are completely in favor for the side of Crew. We have a lockdown on the field with nothing to be done about it.
Yeah, a couple of really cool ideas there from Lev. We talked about the trap into Wine off the wall. The fact that they tried concealing their position on site and get a couple of kills, it just wasn't enough. So now, what feels like the most pivotal round of this map, of this series, arguably. Tied at 10. A spot in the grand finals up for grabs. Meltzer's caught. Oh. They try to punish. Just barely getting away with life.
My goodness, while all that's happening, all this space was gathered into mid on the cat, pushing the players off of A main as well with that drone. It's gonna be a lockdown. Nothing can be done about this. Lev are gonna have to sit double back site here unless they decide to get fully out.
Yeah, there's enough of a gap in heaven here. And in hell.
A lot of utility here, a lot of traps.
I don't feel good about this. The paranoia is out. Aspot's able to get a second. Dashing around, staying alive, make that 3. Slaughter. Lev hold the line.
And they needed to win that round. They needed an answer back. The economy now in favor of them. This constant back and forth. They had a hard read onto this round though, Doug. 3 members were positioned there with 2 sets of trips. Aspas, he's just so clutch in these moments. He got 3 into that round.
22-14 for the Star. And now look at the ult situation. Mizzino has his ult.
Yeah.
A couple of other to play around. Meanwhile, Heat still doesn't have his.
Going back to a mid-esque default is Crew. We haven't seen this in quite some time, but Tom, he's looking to get some spam here.
Yeah, but what's the cue for it to go?
I think just audio. Ooh, he doesn't pull the trigger yet.
Trying to do so from safety now, a little off angle. Not really able to punish back.
Yeah, he's so worried somebody's crept up so close to him.
I mean, reasonably so. There's nothing really covering it. It's just this cam.
Yeah. This cam has been really annoying for Crew to deal with. They've had to break it almost every single round. Knife connecting on the Aspas and B main.
But I think more importantly, not connecting onto tech, so all of that utility is still up. The most important being the cam.
Yeah, and now that paranoia being invested as well.
There it is.
It was all to get this KO ultimate, it is invested. This is what it all comes down to, Doug.
The dart over the top, the flash out.
30 seconds left.
They're so worried.
He's
So
smoked.
worried. They saw Aspas here, but he still gets one.
And that's an important one too. And now everyone else has arrived. Texas joined the fray. The spike is sitting on the ground harmlessly, and now the ult dropped. MTA is going to be lured all the way into his death with 10 seconds left. They've got to commit to getting a spike down. Texas still playing back sight. How much more can he do? It's calm over the top. Crew crumble. Lev gets a series point.
The fortification on both of these sites, it's now becoming too much of a problem for Crew. They're trying their best to not die to Aspas early in these chokes. And it's making it so they don't have enough utility when the actual site hit comes through. Aspas is playing these rounds to near perfection, the way he's baiting out this utility based off of his presence alone. Him getting tagged by back-to-back knives.
And so now we enter what very well may be the last round of the series. And for Crew, the last round of their America's run, if it ends here. And the buy is not great. A Stinger, a Guardian, light armor, and an Outlaw for Aspas.
Scanning ahead.
Such a solid understanding of the situation.
Nowhere to run.
And the thing is, there's nothing that they really have to deal with all this utility. The Paranoid's out. They're going to try to swing into this, and the grab net straps them into the ground, pulls them into their death, but Heat on the counter. Forced to sit back on the other side of the wall, but the site, barring Aspas, is open. Can he punish with the Outlaw? One found, make that two! And just like that, Crew are left on last hopes, on last life. Can he bring them over the finish line? Can he keep things alive for Crew?
Revealing area.
He's been electric, he's been dynamic, but now he's been found. And as all three members of Lev start to push their way in, he will fall. Leviatán are grand finals bound.
In the face of all that adversity that Crew gave them. Man, they closed it out. What a spectacular fashion they did it in. I mean, it was hard fought. The double sentinel setups, they were getting baited out so easily from the side of Crew early on in the half.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that them winning on the attack side of Ascent was the difference maker.
Seriously.
What a performance, man.
But hey, when you need him, Aspas is always there to show up. And he had some huge clutch moments in the last 4 rounds that were honestly the deciding factor in why they won.
He goes plus 10 to close out the map. An outrageous performance. And again, I mean, I've got to mention it one more time. I don't think anybody expected this to go 5 maps. I don't think anyone expected the maps to be close.
Down to the wire, the last 2.
10-13 on Abyss, 10-13 on Ascent. And Lev punched their ticket to the Sunday game.
A best of 5 now against G2. Both these teams have such a crazy map pool. It runs so deep. Oh man, this play from Tex was absolutely insane.
Yeah, their teammates lost their minds too.
One of the highlights from this playoff for certain. Again, Aspas just in these moments, he was so ridiculous.
And so Lev still have the opportunity to cap off what would be a perfect end to an America's year. The roster was built for championships, excuse me. When this was assembled, it was not with the intentions of placing top 3. It was not with the intentions of bowing out on the international stage. It was to compete for hardware. It was to lift trophies. And yes, they've had to do it through the lower bracket, but they still have a shot at doing this. They still have a shot at fulfilling what this project was built to do. Unreal performance.
They're gonna want it too.
We'll see what they have to say. Riv is standing by on the stage for the Verizon post-match interview. Riv, take it away.
That's right, gentlemen. Great cast on the day, but I'm joined by Leviatan's Calm after they take down Crew. Grand finals on the docket now for you. I gotta ask you though, starting off, did you expect this to go 5? It seemed like you guys were pushed to the limit today.
Yeah, definitely. It was a dogfight. I mean, honestly, they're showing a lot of confidence, and you gotta respect that, especially for a team going into Champions. Definitely closer than we thought after the first map, I will say. But I think we were playing like kind of shaky at first, and then we kicked it into high gear.
Talk to me about how you got rid of the shakiness, because we saw then on Sunset, you guys had such a good game last time against Crew, but Crew just didn't care. They ran through you. What were you guys able to do to recoup after that?
I think it's just a testament to what our team is. We kind of grinded through like the absolute lows where everyone thinks we're bad in Shanghai. And then now we're able to like grit our way through, even if we're playing like kind of mid. Then at the end of the day, we can show that we can be champions.
All right, where do you guys think you are? And kind of like if you were to do a trajectory, are you climbing? Are you like right at the top plateauing? Where are you guys now heading into finals, into champs?
I feel like we're on like the up and up, honestly. As much as like I want to say we didn't want to lose a map going into playoffs, I think this is really good for us. Like showing that we can get through like a really tough game and like mentally get through all that, that's like huge for our team. And it's something I honestly really wanted in the playoffs.
All right, before I ask about grand finals, I wanna hear just kind of what the comms were when Tex lost his head as Kesnet was off the side of the map. What was that on Abyss? Was there actually anything, or you guys just like, okay, that just make sure that doesn't happen again?
I don't know. We just laugh, honestly. We're trying to have as much fun as possible, and, you know, it happens.
Absolutely. So, last stage, lower bracket final, was this matchup, was the G2 matchup, and that actually went G2's way. What are you going to do this time? That series was so close, 5 games, 2 overtime maps. What are you going to do this time to make it different?
We're going to play as confident as possible. They have all the pressure on them. They have the 2 map bans. If they lose, it's on them, honestly.
All right, Com, thank you so much. Congrats on the win. Best of luck in grand finals. Don't go anywhere. We're going right to the analyst desk with Tech to close out the day.
All right, everyone. We are now joined by Big Tex. Of course, Leviatán walking away with the dub there against Crew. Congratulations on the victory. Look, you know, let's just cut straight to the chase here. Very different game than from the last time y'all played against Crew. What was different from your perspective that Crew was doing in this matchup that they didn't do in that first time y'all met?
Yeah, they just felt way more prepared, to be honest. And they were also firing on all cylinders. Like, they had a lot of people shooting very well. And yeah, it kind of caught us off guard. They changed a couple comps here and there. I think 1 comp for sure. And yeah, they were just playing really well together.
Yeah.
It feels like that team sticks in it to the very end. Like, they don't give up on maps at all. Who are the voices within the team that keep your roster stabilized in those moments when the pressure's on?
I'd say actually Aspas has he's very encouraging throughout the game. Like if they used an ult but we lost a round, he'd be like, guys, it's fine. They use breach ult, next round. And I would say Corbin as well.
Right,
is also, of course, always a very big supporting figure for the team.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, it's all of us. Like we all encourage each other to just keep pushing.
Yeah. Now, coming from that loss against G2, which I know I'm sure stung. What, I guess, what was the squad feeling after that loss? Because obviously you didn't have much time because you had to think about this upcoming matchup here. Did you guys get a chance to talk about it at all? Or were you just like, screw it, let's just focus on Crew, we'll worry about G2 later?
Yeah, we just talked in the prac room after, right after we lost. We just kind of sat there and we were like, we didn't really play like ourselves today. We were way too worried about what they were doing instead of focusing on what we were doing.
Interesting.
So today we really just came in focused on making sure we play our game and just, came out with the victory.
Yeah.
I mean, you started with a bang on Icebox, a 13-3 where they win both pistols. I don't think I've seen a map like that in a long time. What was the energy like over the course of the entire BO5? I'm thinking back to stage 1 where you played another crazy long BO5 series against G2, back and forth the entire time, and you ended up failing towards the very end. So does this one feel very different, that you still had a long series, but it ended on a high note?
Yeah, personally, I was very tired during that G2 game, especially at the end. I ran out of juice. But I think we've been playing more scrims and practicing more, so our stamina kind of built.
Yeah.
So I'd say this time it definitely felt better later. We were definitely way more focused later in the game. And yeah, I'm proud of the guys.
How do you prep for that to keep that energy up? Because, you know, you're exerting so much when you're up there. The brain's moving a mile a minute. You're constantly talking, constantly thinking about what's coming up next. How do you prepare for that?
Honestly, it's all willpower. Like, I feel like in these BO5s at the end, especially map 5, it's really who wants it more. Like, who can put that extra inch in. And, you know, backstage we're snacking to get energy in and, you know, just encouraging each other to just keep pushing. And we say, like, you know, we're tired, but they're tired too. So
yeah,
we just kind of think about that.
Yeah, no, good point.
Back at the beginning of the season, when you first played against G2, I know you were very chill about it, but we interviewed some of the other players on your team, and they're like, we're winning for Tex. We're out there getting revenge for Tex. How has that evolved over the course of the season? Because it's not fresh...
hatred.
Yeah, exactly. It's either had time to fester or it's had time for you to forget about it.
So the question is, how much do you hate?
But how are you feeling about going up against them so often towards the end here?
It's definitely fun. I mean, I love playing against them. The first time I played them, I wanted to literally dominate them in every way possible. I remember on Breeze, I just ran at them and just destroyed them, and it felt great. Honestly, after that map, I felt so happy inside. But yeah, honestly, it's the hatred has definitely died down a lot. They're still my boys. They always have been. But I definitely still want to take them out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So what is the key for you playing individually better than you did in the game against G2? Because that was a bit of a drop-off from you. Yeah. Your recent form, apart from that, has been spectacular. Was there something specifically? Was it just, again, like you'd said earlier, thinking about them too much?
Yeah, I feel like I was really focused on them and not really on my own game. And they're also, like, their playstyle kind of punishes my playstyle a bit. Based on, because I'm kind of aggressive, I take my timings, and they're a very like tight and strong team where like they punish you if you make mistakes. So I'm just going to be focused on, you know, playing really well fundamentally, and I think I'll play a lot better like that.
Was that an issue with the whole team? Was everyone else worried about what G2 is doing? Because they're very good at cooking up these strategies, the mid-rounding from VALORANT, all the stuff that we constantly praise them for that you also are fully experienced with. Was the whole team worried about this?
Yeah, I don't think any of us really play like ourselves, I'm not gonna lie. And I wouldn't even say it's like a coach fault or like a player fault. It's just kind of, you know, we were just in our own head a little bit.
Yeah, no, completely fair. Well, it was a great question, actually. It came from one of our community members, Spades3, I want to say, or Spadesel, I don't know. Are you nervous going into 5 games and having to play tomorrow? That's actually a great question because you were just talking about endurance. So, I mean, my God, you could potentially be going 10 maps tomorrow. It's going to be a long one. Well, 5, 10 combined today.
Yeah, it's definitely tiring. They definitely have a slight advantage. They had an off day, probably just chilling at home, eating chips, whatever. I mean, I was fighting for my life out here. But honestly, I think since it's grand finals, I think we can really pull out the motivation and like willpower to like, you know, we're all going to be a little tired, but it doesn't really matter. We want to win so bad that in grand final, we're just going to bring everything out.
Yeah, can you speak to the motivation here a little too? Obviously, the trophy, it's sick. Being the #1 team in Americas, that's something to strive for. But you've also got champs just around the corner as well. Aspas has been there in that position before and won in Americas last year. Is he bringing that energy? Is it because it's your first time at the tier 1 level? Where's the motivation coming from to give it your all right now?
I'd say it's both. I mean, Aspas has been so like happy and energetic lately. Like this guy's literally bouncing up and down before the game, like so excited to play because he really wants to win Americas. So he motivates us. We all motivate each other. And yeah, for me, like it's my first season in VCT and I'm in the grand final. So I might as well bring it home, you know, like just to say that my first season I won, just to say I did.
Hell yeah,
But yeah, just for me personally, like I really want to win something. Either it's tournament, Americas, Champions, Masters. Because I want Ascension, but, you know, that's just not on the same level, so I really just want to win for me personally.
Yeah, no, I totally respect that, man. And, I mean, well, congratulations on the win. You're one step closer. Let's go ahead, though, and take a look at where we are right now because we're now down to our final 2 squads. You got G2, you have Leviatán, BO5, #1 seed for the region on the line, all the goods. I mean, this is it, man. This is the entire journey of the year in this building, in this season, has culminated to this. Does it feel a little surreal?
Honestly, I'm so excited. Like, I'm getting a little bit of goosebumps. Like, I just want to play so bad and just hold that trophy.
Yeah. Well, we've always known you to be a very stoic individual, soft-spoken as well. So to hear you excited, energized like that, I think, you know, if that's any indication of how the overall Leviatán roster is feeling, then I think tomorrow's in for a banger game. 5 maps, or you want to end it in 3?
Let's just end it in 3 and go eat Korean barbecue or something. Like, let's just wrap it up.
Absolutely love it. Well, speaking of wrapping up, we might as well close it out there. Thank you so much, Big Tex, for the interview. Appreciate you, brother. And of course, Sideshow, the entirety of the crew. But folks, you ain't gonna want to miss tomorrow. VCT Americas is closing out the 2024 season in style. We've got a huge block party in the works. It's been building outside of the studio every day. It looks pretty awesome.
It looks good.
Our pre-show is gonna start a half hour earlier. That's news to me. 1 p.m. Pacific. Looks like the call time is going to be a little earlier there, Josh. All right, well, it's going to be 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have a full hour of festivities with special guests, live hits from New York, my place, my hometown with Tarek. He's over there. It's going to be awesome. It's a watch party. It's incredible. Ton of surprises. We'll see you then, folks. Catch you tomorrow. Going into this situation, you got a crew team that genuinely feels on top of the world after qualifying for Champion Seoul when no one gave them the time of day. Meanwhile, their opponents on the other side literally created to win a championship, and they find themselves here in a lower bracket final match.
Back and forth. I mean, if you peek this, surely you drop. Yeah, it's too easy right now.
Oh, not like this, bro. Not like this. He just gear out all over him. Into this, Kesnit is weak, Shy's already dead. King snaps onto the second. Can he find a third? Yes, he can. The guy just continues to deliver. There was nothing to stop Leviatán. It was a stomp 2 days ago. Icebox was the exact same story. Aspas has already gotten out. He's in the corner. Kesnit with 3 on it. Make that 4 as crew get their third. 2v2 now on the side. Melser trying to get a little too cheeky, but again, a magnetic snap. That's going to hurt a lot, but the TP out from Melser. He tries to buy some time, manages to stay alive for a little bit longer as MTA tees off. Waiting on the other side, they have so many things that they can do to delay this. They can do so many things to deny this, but they've run out of numbers. Crew take Haven. And Shy tucking as best as he can. Calm! What a response, getting him down to 1. And Tex wins the war of attrition.
He wants to go for it.
Of course he does. I mean, why not? They might not know Shy's here, man. This sucker punch is going to be devastating. Forget about Shy. It's MTA with 4. This is a dangerous game you're playing. This is really aggressive. The flash on the other side. He's right next to him. Kesnit getting 2. The smoke goes up. Mazino goes down. The spam through from Melser. This is so decisive. Forget about a bonus. Crew stand strong. 13-7. The way of the LATAM representatives. So Spike is just now getting its way out onto site, and there's really nobody else there. The defense has held the line. Stalwart in their approach. Shots not landing for the attack. No position is safe. He's got to know. MTA falls. It's just Sheriffs now. The one benefit is they do have the spike down. That one way, fully disrespected. Aspas has his 4, but Com's left alone in a 1v1. This is very winnable for Shy, and he connects. I mean, MTA, 1, 2, 3, every single one spotted. That's all right, even if the kills are a little bit messy. Still surviving, still conniving, and taking us to map 5. 13-10, the way of Lev. The dart back site, but nothing's been cleared for Heaven. It wasn't being watched. But this is a tough post plan. When you're down in numbers like this, it's not that simple, but Tex just picks them apart 1 by 1. Full 5, full. It's the Lev way to freeze, to slow things down. Aspas finding a scout, finding 2, finding all 3 with the blades. And off of that, they commit now, trying to fight and deal with everything that's up in Heaven, and they do so. I don't feel good about this. The paranoia is out. Aspas able to get a second. Dashing around, staying alive, make that 3. Leviatán are grand finals bound.
In the face of all that adversity that crew gave them, man, they closed it out. What a spectacular fashion they did it in. I mean, it was hard fought.